That man, Stefan, he clearly knows something. But he appears to be rather mentally unstable, and he's hostile towards me. Madam Z cautioned me on this. I must be extra careful when dealing with people like him. Should make sure I have a backup plan in place before proceeding. Still no sign of Lilia. Did she get in trouble? Hello? Hello? Is that Miss Tuesday? Oh, I think I know what this is. That's an R. E. S. P. O. Respond.
Hello? Is this Miss Vertain?
Miss Tuesday?
Yes. I have an announcement for you. There's a service outage going on in the area. Some critters nibbled through the cables of a nearby signal tower, but all our internal phone lines are still running well.
I see.
It should be repaired soon since we share the signal tower with that armament factory. I apologize for any inconvenience this may cause. I'll bring you dinner up later. It's on the house.
There's something I want to ask you. I received a phone call earlier.
Oh, Miss Kimberly was also prank-called not long ago. I suppose it's a critter's doing. You know how mischievous they can be. And since they have decent smarts, they can play some pretty nasty tricks.
I don't think that's what made the phone call.
Well, Miss Vertain, this is what I understand to be the truth. Is there anything else I can help you with?
I'm good for now. Thank you. Spiders? Is that an arcane array? The pattern's familiar. I've seen it somewhere before. Yes, I've definitely seen this before. When I was in school.
This is an extremely dangerous array, one that you are prohibited from using. It can go easily beyond the caster's control. We study Arcanum and tame it for our use. But once its power surpasses our limits, it is highly likely that it will lead to our own destruction. I need you all to remember that. It'll be in your next exam.
Vertain, are you listening? The instructor just said it'd be in the next exam. If you like, you can check my notes.
Oh, thank you. My mind was somewhere else. Why have they made it a key point of the exam if we can't even use it? I see. They didn't teach us about arrays so that we could use them. They wanted us to be able to identify them so that we could avoid danger. It's highly likely to cause an explosion or other severe consequences if I act too hastily. Lilia still hasn't come back. I must find someone else to help.
Hey, we met back in the hallway, remember? Now it's your turn.
What exactly do you want from me, miss?
Well, it's simple. The person I'm looking for is right here in this motel, and I'm scouring every corner of it to find her. Look, Missy, I don't want to make things hard for you. Name your price, and we can talk.
If this person's gone to such great lengths to avoid you, perhaps she doesn't want to see you at all.
Well, that ain't my concern, is it? A job's a job. Whether it's catching a cheating spouse, tracking someone down, or delivering a letter, it don't make no difference to me.
Very well. But you'll have to look elsewhere, I'm afraid. There's no one but me in this room.
Look, I know what I'm doing. How about you turn around and take a good look around the room?
So you can knock me out as soon as I turn my back to you.
Missy, if that were my plan, I wouldn't have spent all this time talking to you. I much prefer to do my business pleasantly. I don't like to see things get too ugly.
I see.
Fine. If you don't want to turn around, I'll tell you what I see. You've burned your finger there. You should be more careful.
This is...
Don't look like a fire burn to me. What was it? Some arcane energy? Looks like this room has a couple secrets, too. So you touched an arcane array, and its power burned you. How's that for a guess? Pretty close, huh? This is my arcane skill. It allows me to see the traces that people leave behind. That's how I get these jobs, you see. Ain't nothing happening that don't leave a trace. If there ain't no trace, then it never happened. I came to your room to look for evidence, not a person.
I see. You want to know whether the person you're tracking has been here, right?
Now we're talking.
Before I let you investigate the room, I have one more question. You take jobs from people nearby, don't you?
Of course. It's obvious, ain't it? You seem more intrigued by my profession than my peculiar request. You're in trouble, ain't you? Then let me formally introduce myself. The name's Argus. I'm 26, and I have extensive experience as a mercenary.
Let's make a deal. You may search this room all you like, and I won't say a thing. But in return, I'd like your assistance in my own investigation.
How, exactly?
Can you tell when that array on the cupboard was drawn?
Less than 24 hours ago.
In other words, this was left behind by the last guest who stayed in this room.
Can't say for certain.
Let's see what you've got in there for me. Hey, buddy! They just left her in a wooden box. What kind of safekeeping is this? Anyway, I don't have much time. I'll settle that with them later. Alright, at least they bothered to put a gravity ritual on it.
Are you also preparing to evacuate?
Ah, perfect timing. Are you in charge here?
No, I'm not in charge of anything, Lieutenant. I'm just passing through. I'm Kayla, by the way. I heard some rattling here and thought some of those kids might have come back to steal weapons again. These things aren't cheap, and the kids know it.
Kids stealing from the military? Huh, that's a new one. Where are the guards here?
Oh, didn't they tell you, Lieutenant? The army stationed here started evacuating a month ago. There aren't many of them around these days.
Evacuating? Then where can I find the soldiers that are still here?
You're new in town, right? Did you see a bar on your way here? That's where the Xeno soldiers spend their nights drinking. You might want to check there first. That's probably where you'll find him.
him. What does he look like?
Like every other Xeno soldier. They all look the same to me. You'll know him when you see him. But I have to tell you, the Bard doesn't like outsiders. Have you heard of the Order of Enlightenment? It's an occult society, very active these days. They were preaching in this town just a few days ago. Today is their day of prayer.
And what does that have to do with me?
The bar you're going to is where they gather to pray. That's all I know. If you're going up there, please, be careful.
Huh, thanks.
May the sufferer watch over you. Great sufferer, by your decree, the glory of former days shall grace our present path.
Great sufferer, by your decree, the glory of former days shall grace our present path.
We dedicate our souls and minds to you. We seek the well-being of our people in your name.
May the sufferer watch over you. Under the grace, may our cups overflow. To the sufferer!
To the sufferer!
Huh? Odd time for a stranger to come.
No crashing the party, am I? Napa Valley, Californian Red, Kentucky whiskey. Ha! There's a lot of good stuff here. One vodka, straight. The best you got.
It ain't business hours, lady.
Hey, all I did was ask for a drink. Is this how you treat your customers?
As I said, we ain't serving you.
Why? Don't you have vodka? Fine, I can settle for whiskey. Have to learn to take what we can get, eh?
You ain't getting that either.
Seriously? You don't have any whiskey? I'm starting to understand why Xeno evacuated. What's the point of living in a town where there's no real liquor? Especially for those drunkards.
What's a Xeno lieutenant doing here anyway? No alcohol fuel in that warehouse of yours?
Huh. You sure have some interesting drinking habits down here. But I'm curious, what did the sufferer promise you to make you all change your faith? I mean, that's quite an achievement, especially here in Texas. Oh, so we're doing this now, are we? Look, I don't care what you're doing here. Just tell me where that Xena soldier went.
What Xeno soldier?
Don't play dumb with me.
That soldier. He's a complete idiot, that one. It's obvious that Xeno's abandoned him, but he insists that they left him here because they believe that only he could keep the warehouse safe. Why are you looking for him now, if you decided to ditch him in the first place?
Listen, I can tell you guys aren't the biggest fans of Xena, but that has nothing to do with me. I'm just here to get my stuff back.
Fine. If you insist on finding him, try your luck on the outskirts of town. He might be drinking there.
Thanks.
We can't say for sure if this ritual was created by the last guest. Fact is, you can find all kinds of unusual markings in this motel, most of them less than a month old. Very recent indeed. The maid said that there aren't many tourists these days, so my guess is that a group of skilled arcanists have left their work in every room. Based on the markings I've seen so far, there were about 3 to 5 people in this group.
And was there a sheep-headed arcanist among them?
Well, that I don't know. What I can say, though, is that there was a sheep living in here. I saw some hoof prints on the hallway floor. It looked like someone had stayed in this motel with a sheep. Sounds pretty odd, but I suppose it ain't too strange given the local farmland. But I'm sure this will catch your attention.
What?
We all know that sheep walk on 4 hooves. But the hoof prints I saw were different. They were small and delicate, and most importantly, followed the movement pattern of a human, judging by the trail. The owner of the hoof prints was about the size of a slender kid, maybe 5 feet tall.
That's it. That's the one I'm looking for.
Don't I know it? They can question my morals, but nobody can question my competence. So, may I enter your room now, Miss Vertain?
Please.
Now, let's start with this little thing. The carvings are new. No sign of woodworm damage or moisture absorption. These splinters along the edge are extremely sharp. Is this dried blood?
Blood was used as the medium for this array. The circle isn't fully closed here, and the lines are a bit uneven. Whoever drew this doesn't seem to be an expert. You know how to deal with this, right?
All you have to do is ask, boss. You might be surprised.
We need to destroy it as quickly as possible. I think it's been left by a dangerous occult group.
Hold on.
Is that blood?
Yep. The blood of an arcanist. So it can't be Kayla's.
Can you discern the owner's identity?
I ain't all-knowing. I can't identify people by their blood. No, I'll need more than just blood to find out who was here. Hmm? We are the beginning and the original source of metals. Through us, the highest tincture of art is brewed. There is neither a spring nor water like mine. I heal and help both the rich and the poor. Yet I am full of hurtful poison. What the hell does that mean?
It's a quote from a text on alchemy.
All challenges will be resolved with the provision of sufficient and high-quality materials and the precise execution of the array. But where do we find these materials? What was once sundered shall reunite. I've seen this handwriting before.
And here, my phone number.
Yep, this is definitely the same. That sound. It's a Flying Arrow M1903 pistol. Kimberly? What's wrong with her now? I better go check it out, boss. Something don't seem right. You coming? That Kimberly must have run into something.
Is he still alive?
Just when I thought you couldn't get any dumber.
Is this a suicide?
He pulled out the gun and shot himself in the head. His brain splattered on the walls and flowed onto the floor.
There's gunshot residue and powder burns near the wound. Gunpowder particles on his fingers. There's no doubt. He died from a gunshot wound. The bullet was fired from the pistol in his hand and went straight through his skull. But this ain't just any pistol. It's a Xeno pistol. You've got yourself in some serious trouble, Missy.
It wasn't me! I'm just an innocent, sad, terrified girl who just happened to pass by.
Well, Miss Innocent, Sad, and Terrified. If you want to prove your innocence, start by telling us what happened here. And mind you, I will call you out if you lie. The evidence here will tell me what's true and what ain't.
If you're so clever, then why are you asking me? Just figure it out yourself. All right, I'll tell you. This madman has been harassing me. Ever since I moved into this place, I'd often seen him pacing around in the hallway. Day and night, he'd stomp around out here. He didn't care if anyone else was trying to sleep. I thought he must have had a lot on his mind, like he was troubled or something. So I asked him what happened. His deep, sunken eyes were bloodshot. Every fiber of his being screamed that something was wrong with him. Sir, if you have any problems, there are many ways to solve them. But pacing in the hallway isn't one of them. Plus, it disrupts everyone's sleep. I swear I didn't say anything too harsh, but he was just downright rude.
Get the hell away! Get out of my face!
Excuse me! That's pretty rude, you know! I had no desire to argue with the madman. Thankfully, the maid intervened when she heard what was going on. I have no idea what she said to him, but eventually they came to terms. He stopped pacing the hallway from then on. That was a relief. I'm sure the other guests would agree. That maid can vouch for what I've said. Ask her yourselves. Not long after, I found a letter from Stefan on the floor of my room. It'd been slid under my door. In the letter, he apologized for his behavior. Should I make peace with him? I thought. As I wondered, I took a look through the peephole. It was strange. I couldn't see a thing. It was pitch black out there. Is it broken? I wondered. Before I could dwell on it too much, the phone rang. I was startled, but it was just the front desk calling.
Hello, Miss Kimberly.
Is it dinner time already?
No. Is there an issue between Mr. Stefan and yourself?
She seemed hesitant to speak.
I know it's not my place to ask, but the situation is a little concerning. Mr. Stefan is standing at your door, his face pressed up against it, so I just want to confirm that everything's all right between you two.
And that's what happened.
Calm down, miss. It's all over now. Do you still have that letter with you?
Who'd hold on to that? I threw it out right away. It's somewhere in that bin.
Dear Ms. Kimberly, I've got a question already. How did he know your name? You didn't know each other well enough to have exchanged them, did you?
I'm the victim here, damn it! You can't interrogate me like this. But if you must know, maybe he heard it when my friend called me.
Your friend?
Why? What's so odd about that? A young girl like myself should never travel alone to places like this. I need someone to make my bed and prepare my clothes and, most importantly, I need to eat. I wouldn't even be here if I weren't looking for...
I want to apologize for my behavior earlier in the hallway.
Looks like a perfectly normal letter to me. No hints that this is from a man on the verge of a mental breakdown.
If you won't take my word for it, go ahead and ask the maid. She was there. She can vouch for me.
Please, we weren't accusing you of anything.
Though graphology has been criticized a lot these days, I gotta say, this looks more like a woman's handwriting to me.
So you mean Stefan was a woman?
You still with us, Missy? What I'm suggesting is that Mr. Stefan didn't write this letter, but a woman did. But that's just speculation. Chances are Mr. Stefan's handwriting was just a little feminine. I'll keep this letter for now. Back to my questions. If the story you told is true, then why are you at the scene of his death? Did you go looking for him, even after all the weird things he'd done?
I was hungry, okay? That's a good enough answer for you? I can't just starve myself!
Hungry? If I remember correctly, the motel offers room service. And you get one free meal a day, so even if you ain't got no money, you have enough food to get by.
What do you know? I'm not eating one of those ham sandwiches.
Alright, so you've got some standards when it comes to food. Let's drop that. You were there when he fired the shot, right? What happened then? Take your time and think it through. There's no rush.
About 15 minutes ago, he rang my doorbell. I thought my friend had returned from town. She always brings something amazing with her, so I opened the door. The last thing I expected was to see Stefan standing there. Who'd have thought that he could get back on his feet so quickly after the beating he took? I was terrified when I saw him there. He towered over me, one hand on the doorframe and the other pushing against the door. I slammed the door shut. I thought he'd let go. But he didn't. The door closed on his fingers.
I understand now. I understand it all. You're with Zeno, aren't you?
His fingers were bent at a peculiar angle. It must have been painful, but he didn't seem to feel the pain at all. The fracturing of his fingers was no more painful than a mosquito bite to him.
You came to me and made me drop my guard so that one day you could turn me in for a bounty. But why me? Why are you doing this to me? It wasn't me who made the plan. It wasn't me who executed it. It wasn't me who pressed that damn button. All I did was expose their crime to the rest of the world. Tell me, why else would they want my head so desperately if they didn't believe they were guilty? In the meantime, the actual killers are treated as heroes. But I'm the hero. Me. But all my sorry ass gets is a lifetime of hiding out in some random motel in the middle of nowhere. This world is sick.
What the hell are you talking about?
Come on, drop the act. Right after you spoke to me, Vertain showed up at my door. Are you trying to tell me that that was just by chance?
Vertain? He totally ignored my question.
The world has fallen ill. I can see that now. The realm above truly does exist. How else would we have gotten the idea of a perfect heavenly realm? Obviously, it doesn't exist in this world.
I don't care. Even if that place does exist, it has nothing to do with you. Get out of the way! I'm closing the door.
But at least I get to decide when I step through that door, right?
I had no idea what he was talking about. And he didn't give me much chance to figure it out either.
I'm afraid your mission is doomed to fail, young lady.
In that moment, a smile of relief came over his face, and without a moment's hesitation, he pressed the pistol against his temple and pulled the trigger. And you know the rest.
What's going on in here?
This man killed himself.
Oh dear. There's blood everywhere. It'll be a lot of work to clean it all up, and with the weather being so hot, the room will soon start to smell. All the carpets have to go.
Miss Tuesday, can I ask you a question?
Yes?
Have you ever had any guests who looked like or claimed themselves to be Manus Vindictae?
Manus Vindictae? I'm not entirely sure what you mean. Could you explain in more detail?
Most of them dress in blue and black. Some drool a fair bit, and most of them can't speak in full sentences. The most notable feature is that they all wear masks shaped like hands. Have you seen any before?
Masks shaped like hands? No, I've never had a guest who wore a hand-shaped mask. Never seen anyone in blue and black either. But if an organization was going to do something in secret, I don't think they'd be too public about it.
Hey, lady.
Take me to his room.
It shouldn't be too hard for you to find the room yourself, right, Miss Argus? After all, that's how you make a living. But I can just tell it to you. It's 214. You must be curious about that room. I'm surprised. You've been in almost every room in the motel, and you've been here for 2 days. You're like a child in your curiosity. This place would be much safer if you were the sheriff here. Anyway, I hope you can find that girl soon.